Hello, GoGo Kid teachers. It's me, Teacher Kristie, here to talk to you today about how to teach project and assessment classes. As always, please keep in mind that all of today's materials are property of GoGo Kid, so please do not share any of this information outside of GoGo Kid's teacher network. Assessments and projects. These are the class types that I am most often asked about by new teachers. They feel like there are many challenges with these types of classes, such as pacing, knowing how to correctly score and evaluate their student, keeping their student engaged and in conversation, and how to handle students that they have never taught before. But I also feel like there are some really great advantages to these classes. These are some of my favorite types of classes to teach because it's a change of pace for you and your student. It's a great way to gauge your students' progress, and it's a really great opportunity to extend on what the student has learned in that unit and to engage in some really fun and exciting free talk. Assessments are fairly different from regular lessons. In levels K1 and K2, the assessments occur during lessons 6 and 12 of each unit. In levels 1 and up, the assessments occur in lessons 5 and 11. Most of the lessons for the assessments are set up like a story or as a game. The feedback form is probably the biggest difference, and I'll show you what it looks like shortly. Keep in mind, though, that for these assessment classes, it is vital that you are still teaching, extending, and encouraging output. Check what the student can do on their own first, then provide support as needed, and if you have to, reteach the concept. Your goal here is for your student ideally to understand the concept by the end of each slide. When you're preparing for assessments, you first want to make sure that you are very carefully reviewing the slides and the teacher directions. Take notice of how many slides there are total in the lesson and how many actual assessment questions there are. You want to be familiar with the unit's curriculum, and if you haven't taught the previous classes, check out GoGo Kids Collaborative Lesson Bank on Facebook. This is a great tool to see the skills taught in previous classes. If the lesson is an interactive one in levels K1 and K2 right now, you want to be very clear on when and what the student should be clicking, and you need to very carefully control the student's mouse so they aren't moving ahead and clicking things prior to you asking the question. Think about your pacing. Which slides can you move more quickly through, and which slides are going to require you to slow down and extend? Make sure you plan a fun and interactive reward system for these lessons especially to help keep the student engaged and to give their brain a little bit of a break in between some questions. And please also make sure that you are preparing props, puppets, anything you can add to the lesson to help keep it light and fun. This is just a quick view of what some of the game boards look like for various assessment levels. You can see that they are set up with different numbers of levels depending on the level of the class. And here you can see what a sample evaluation form looks like. You'll notice that the top 3 questions on the evaluation form are exactly the same as a regular class's evaluation. The rest of the assessment form will look quite different though. As you can see here, you will be scoring them on each assessment question individually. Extensions during assessments are vital. You want to make sure that you are constantly extending and challenging the student. Have the student read as much as they are able. Ask questions about what can be seen on the slide. Encourage the students to make sentences with their new vocabulary or high frequency words. Practice writing these difficult words. And you can also draw pictures of words or concepts that the students continue to struggle with. On to assisted projects. These are my favorite types of classes to teach. Preparing for assisted projects is a bit different from preparing for a regular class. As always, though, you should carefully review your slides and teacher directions. Keep note of how many slides there are in total and how many project steps there are. Think very carefully about your pacing. Some of the slides you will move through very quickly. You may have to slow down and extend or engage in some conversation. Make sure you are planning questions for conversation in advance. Think about what types of questions or conversation starters you could use on each slide. Focus on level and age appropriate open-ended questions that will encourage the student to engage in free talk. Make sure you have prepared your supplies. These lessons are designed for you to complete the project alongside your student. Modifications are okay if needed, but you should always be working together with the student. And as always, make sure you have prepared a reward system, props, puppets, and anything else you can include to keep the lesson fun and exciting. Here are a couple examples of what completed projects may look like. And this is what you can expect for the steps of a project. The projects always start out with the list of materials the student should have brought, and then the projects are divided into various steps. The steps can range from 4 or 5 steps all the way up to 7 to 9 steps. It just depends on the project. Each assisted project will end with a presentation time. This is normally a short paragraph with some blanks for your student to read out loud to you as they hold their project up and present to you what they have created. Conversations are vital in assisted projects. This is a great chance to encourage your student to engage in free talk and practice those conversation skills they aren't always able to practice during a normal lesson. You can ask them questions such as, what color are you using? Do you like X? What is your favorite whatever? Who is this? You can have the students practice writing words that relate to what they've learned. You can count things. You can even encourage your student to draw some additional things on their project. It's an open book, and anything that will get your student talking is perfect for these lessons. And the what if questions. What if the parents are giving the answers? You want to try your best to encourage the student to answer independently, but at the end of the day, if the parent insists on giving the student the answers, do your best just to roll with it. What if the student won't engage or answer? Keep trying. If you have to, talk to yourself. I've even heard of some teachers suggest that they sing songs and try to get the student to sing along with them. That would be a great option for the shyer students as well. What if the student is late or if there are IT issues? In this case, you want to do the best you can to get through as much material as possible. If you absolutely aren't able to complete an assessment, you need to send a ticket to the Chinese lead teacher, letting them know this and letting them know that you would recommend that they retake the assessment again. What if we don't finish? If it's an assessment class, you really need to try your best to finish the entire class, unless there are unforeseen circumstances such as a late student or IT issues. If you don't finish a project, I have often given the student the opportunity to finish it on their own and bring it back to our next class if they would like. And finally, what if the student comes to a project lesson with an already completed project? When this happens for me, I simply give the student lots of ample time and opportunity to explain their project. I ask lots of questions, engage in lots of conversation, and then I have the student help me complete my project. I'll ask them questions such as, what color should this be? What color should I use for this? What should I draw here? And get them to engage in conversation to help me complete my project. Thanks so much for spending some time with me. I hope you found this helpful. Make sure that if you're able to come attend some of our live workshops, we would love to have you there as well. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.